All right, well, we have week 9 in the books. Hello and welcome to the 10th episode of the Ordinary Bronies podcast. We are joined today by Danny. Thanks for joining us, Danny.
Hi, Danny.
And
Hi,
as always,
guys.
we have our usual cast and a surprise Trevor returning to the fold today.
I'm back.
Managed to get off work in time to be on
The
the
takes
podcast.
are going to be so hot.
We
Gonna
got
be
some
so
streamers coming for you today.
Scorching
Yeah.
takes.
Yeah,
Geno Smith, look out.
yeah. Look out.
Okay. It's all right. Can we start with that?
Yeah, here
Let's
it
start with
comes.
that. Let's hit it. Hit it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Start spitting, my man.
So for the first time in the last 10 years, I actually turned the fucking football game off.
That's good.
After I watched him run backwards 20 yards and then fumble the fucking ball, I couldn't watch the game anymore. He is so fucking bad. Our new coach, yeah, some defensive master he is, right? Have you guys seen our tackling over the last I don't know,
been
6
bad.
weeks?
It's been bad.
They can't fucking.
I
tackle.
actually have not
It's
haven't
horrendous.
watched
It's
in a couple
horrendous.
weeks.
Not just can they not tackle, but the fundamental of hats to the ball, everybody get to the ball.
Mhm.
There's never that. It's always one
Yeah.
person, maybe
swarm.
two if you're lucky.
Ugh.
No
That's
one fucking
one of
cares.
the keys about the Niners over the last 5 to 7 years is they generally swarm to the ball and they do it in unison on every play, and it's very basic fundamentals, and it's
That's how you play good defense. Get more people there. Tackling
It's basic.
is not always
It's-
sure.
It's literally
You
what
know?
you should be doing in fucking Pee Wee football. I swear, my high school team could have beat the Seahawks over the last 4 weeks. They're so fucking bad.
Yes. I love
Um,
this take.
I'm not kidding, bro. It's so frustrating to watch the games. I actually can't watch them.
no,
That
it's,
one against
I
the
don't.
Bills was pretty bad.
Oh my god, I wanted to fucking
With the high snap.
scratch my eyes out watching that. That
Oh,
game was
yeah.
so frustrating.
How-
Even as an impartial viewer, if you don't even if you just watch football for fantasy, watching that game would drive you fucking crazy. Just like that Giants game I keep complaining about this season. It's I will never stop complaining about that game. It was that bad. But
Yeah.
that Bills game was so painful. Because not on top of the sloppy football, it was penalty after penalty after
Oh,
penalty
that was
after
awful.
penalty after penalty.
Did you guys talk about that last week? Or
The
2 weeks ago?
penalties, yeah, we
we did.
I mentioned that it was the most penalized game of the season last
Was
week.
it not the most penalized game in the history of the fucking game?
I wouldn't
'Cause
be
that was
surprised at
ridiculous.
this point. We're gonna break some kind of fucking record, just like the
pretty
Mariners
close.
were trying to break a strikeout record last season or the previous season. We got
Yeah,
the
this year.
Seahawks just
Yeah.
penalizing the crap out of themselves.
Well, will this
It's
be the first
insane.
year we don't make the playoffs in 2
No.
years or something?
Well, we didn't make
Wait,
playoffs last
2
year.
years ago.
Well, last year, the year Russ got that Aaron Donald ended Russ,
Mhm.
and then 2 years before that,
We got smoked by the
why-
49ers. Where that
Didn't you
was
guys
actually a
lose
game where it's
and then-
oh, this might
Oh, you
actually.
know what? I
we might
remember.
actually
Me and
win.
you went to the fucking Pittsburgh game, and it was we ended up losing, and we couldn't go into playoffs. I actually remember that.
Yep, if we won
Yeah,
that game,
that's
we
right.
probably would have made it in as a wild card team. But instead,
Mhm.
that was one of the worst beat downs I've ever seen the Seahawks suffer
There's
in the Pete Carroll
a
era.
couple structural things that need to change, and that we can no longer blame on Pete Carroll, the tackling.
never did.
Obviously,
Pete was never
Well,
the
it's
problem.
it's coaching. Other than the coaching stuff that we blamed on Pete Carroll for so long, the tackling and that kind of stuff. We can no longer just let John Snyder get away with not drafting O-Linemen. That's been a thing for 10 years now, and it's just not working. It's Pete's gone. You can't blame him anymore about not taking O-Linemen.
Yeah.
And then I
now it
watched
falls on John Schneider.
and then I watched Kansas City, and their line play on both sides of the ball is insane. They just have meat. They just have fucking meat on
Yeah, a
both
bunch of
sides of the
tuds.
ball.
Tuds up front.
Yeah, it's this meat walls.
Big guys.
We don't
Yeah,
got that. We drafted Creed Humphrey, or could have drafted Creed Humphrey. We could have drafted Creed Humphrey, but instead we have guys who Abraham Lucas is never there. Anthony
Not on the
Bradford, who's really trash. Stone Forsythe has been on this team way too long. Charles Cross he's okay, but he's young. He's developing. but he's not
Yeah, I
like.
was waiting
Also,
for
like, it doesn't matter how good you are individually as an O-lineman if everybody else sucks.
If everything
Like, you're not
around
gonna
you
be
is
good, you can't
falling
be good.
apart, yeah, you can't Iron Man an O-line.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
you
not.
can't- you
That's
can't-
literally not how it works.
Yeah, you just can't. You need cohesion and like a couple good dudes in order to make it
Well,
work.
you guys said that they didn't draft O-Linemen, and Chris and Cross was was it round 1?
He was the
Yeah,
9th overall.
We
Like,
got
it
him as
it was
we
a
got,
heavy investment. That is the one heavy
Yeah.
investment, but that's a tackle.
he was
like,
part of.
you
Yeah,
have
those
to
are like
take
the
him
most
there.
important. Yeah, like
Yeah,
besides the center, like
He was
Yeah,
part
but
of the
we don't
Russ
take
trade.
we haven't taken a center, like an actual just like center ever. Like they're always a guard center hybrid,
Yeah.
we might
or
take a
and
veteran
they're in
from
the
another
4th
team.
or 3rd round. They're
Well,
never like a high investment.
That's
place.
the
It's
that's the
really-
problem, Trevor, is that we have a veteran center now, and he's trash.
Yeah, no.
But
Brady,
he's also
all
not a
worn
true
out.
center. He's a guard that was kicked inside, played center now. He really
And of
shouldn't
all
be
the
playing
of
center.
all the
And you,
things,
and you you play center even if you have the possibility to because the money's that much better.
well, it's like if you're going to draft a center, do not like it's the one O-line position outside of like elite tackles where it's like just draft a dude who's played center his entire life, please.
Oh,
Don't-
you have to.
Yeah, exactly. No, you have to. That's the problem is that we don't.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
No, I know.
I mean, that was like a big part of the problem with the Packers were having in their game. I mean, one of the many big problems the Packers were having. is that
Good
we have
centers.
Elton
oh,
Jenkins
sorry.
moved inside, which is nothing. So go ahead, Trevor.
Good centers are far and few between, and then you get ones like what was that fucking dude down in Miami? I don't know why I'm spacing on his name. Dude that got in trouble, who's like was an absolute psychopath.
Cognito?
Yeah.
Yeah, Richie Cognito. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Don't get caught saying the N-word.
Yeah. For real.
Crazy.
Well, then he called his teammate. You know, we don't have to.
Yeah, we don't have to
Yeah.
relitigate.
Well, he also had some
Richie
domestic
Cognito.
violence stuff too, and it was like a
Yeah.
whole set of things. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that dude is bad news.
Richie Incognito was like one of my favorite linemen when I was when I was watching for a while, and then after all those allegations, it made me feel like I don't know. It's hard to watch
Yeah.
linemen.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
It's already hard to watch linemen. Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
brains are fucking mush, dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like Danny
Like-
says, they make the meat pile. That
You-
pisses him off
well,
so much.
the problem is that
Fucking
you,
meat pile.
on offense, you have to be like the most intelligent mush brain, and then on defense, you can just literally be non-existent and you'd be fine. But
Yeah,
like,
you
have
only
you
need
guys
one
seen an
brain
NFL
cell.
playbook? It's absolutely insane. The
Yeah,
amount of
it's
plays you have to
crazy.
memorize.
They're
It's insane.
crazy.
It's
Just
it's
the
almost
amount
like
of
learning.
complexity in there.
It's like learning Chinese because it's like you have roots and then they
It's
build on
definitely
top
an-
of each
a
other, and then
language.
it's just like a language. Like the different systems, they have just words. It's just word salad, and you just layer
Yeah.
it together, and then it makes a route. It like makes route concepts or
Plays,
different
develop.
player package combinations and shit like that. And
And it all
Yeah.
builds on each other so that like you can set up a perfect play to spring somebody free for like an explosive. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bro,
It-
tell me you've been watching fucking Geno close his eyes every time he throws the ball.
I have been watching that. It's fucking funny.
It's ever since I pointed it out, you can't not see it,
I
right?
can't unsee
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
true.
He's
I,
squinty.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anybody's
I
going to
really
argue
think
though
it's
that
squinting, but I do think like after like having seen it, I definitely agree with you. He's so like he's close to close.
Bro.
Like he might only be seeing out of one eye at the
With
end of
those
that.
picks, like the one that he would the one he just chucked up. I know he got hit, but like the one where he's trying to get it to K9 in the red zone last
Yeah.
week, where
That
he
was
shouldn't,
bad.
dude. He shouldn't have thrown that. Like that's on him. I
Yeah.
don't care. People have been saying, "Oh, he got hit, and that's why it was an interception." It's
No,
like
but it
no,
was-
wasn't.
then
drew
you
it
just
to
like
dirt
strong
that
arm it
shit.
into the stands. Like
It's
that's
because
the
he
play.
has a fucking receiver picked out before the play even begins, and they know it. They picked up on it and they jumped in front of the ball. Like it's not hard
Yeah,
to
I
pick up
think-
on that shit.
I think a lot of that, it's on him for throwing the ball and doing that, and then B, it's on like bad coaching. Like Ryan Grubb, like next year might like turn this around and become like a professional NFL like coach, but right now he's not. Like he is absolutely not a professional NFL coach, and so it's the combination of not great coaching and somebody that we really should move on from.
Well, did you notice that when Brady came up, right? Instead of swapping jerseys with Geno, he swapped jerseys with the fucking mascot.
Woof.
That had me fucking dying, bro.
I didn't even notice
boy.
that. That's
Yeah,
funny.
I haven't watched the
boy.
game in a while, so that kind of stuff I've missed. Yeah,
That's
like
fucking. He got blitz. He
Yeah,
got
yeah,
blitz over Geno.
yeah. It was
That's
fucking
fucking
hilarious.
funny. That's.
I mean, that's some real petty shit. That's good. I respect Brady for it. It's like, y'all remember me? Fuck you.
He talked
Like,
mad shit about Geno the entire time. It was great. That was the only game I've been able to watch.
For sure.
Well, let's do our player profile. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Good.
I don't know how familiar everyone is with Danny. Danny's my buddy from high school. One of my first memories of hanging out with Danny, I went over to his house and I brought Star Fox 64 with me and a hookah because like our girlfriends at the time were hella into hookahs and all that stuff. And
It was a big fad.
yeah, it was a big fad. It was a
that
whole
era.
thing. It was a whole thing. And we realized that we didn't have any of those the briquettes left. So
Oh yeah. No goals.
So Danny and
Yeah.
I were like, we were just like hanging out in his backyard, like, yo, how are we actually gonna make this thing work? So we took like a regular like briquette that you use for
The
like
charcoal.
grilling.
Yeah.
we were pouring like lighter fluid on it, trying to get it hot enough. After about 15 minutes, we were like, nah, fuck this. We just went inside.
This ain't working. Yeah.
We went inside and played Star Fox, and it was awesome. It was a good time. But yeah, man.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I think one of the first times I hung out with Danny was when we were at other than school, right? We were at Cody's and he put a tortilla with peanut butter in the microwave
And cheese.
and
cheese.
Yeah, and cheese.
Okay.
And
Okay.
cheese.
That makes it better.
And I was flabbergasted by that. It had me shook. I didn't even know what to think about it the entire day. I think you didn't you fucking leave it in there, and then we found it the next day.
Oh, I forgot about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were so high. We were like,
That's excellent. Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, I remember we
Yeah.
were playing Smash and like just back to back games. And Danny was like really hungry, so he threw it in the microwaved it, forgot about it. Like an hour later, opened the microwave. I just hear, "Oh no!" Anyway, so tell us about yourself, Danny. What do you do?
Yeah. What's your shtick?
Well, I'm doing a lot of art at the moment. We're gonna see what happens with that, though. I'm doing art for. Are you just in general?
Yeah, man.
I mean,
So-
whatever.
What are you
doing
doing?
art for board game. Pretty excited for that. Except maybe with tariffs, who knows what the fuck's gonna go on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then working on a video game. Those are my two things I do. And then I do freelance design for advertising for Lisa's company, which is pretty nice. But that's the only
Marketing.
one that pays at the moment. Yeah, marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
For sure.
Banner
Right on.
ads for stuff.
Right.
So Danny is one of our newer fantasy degens, and he's picked up the game like really, really fast. This is his second season, if you believe that. So yeah, I'm curious because I think you mentioned it at one point when we were hanging out, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I play fantasy," you know. And then I invited you to the redraft league, but I think it was someone I think in Lisa's family, your wife's family, was introduced you to it or something. So like, what's
Yeah,
your
her
history
dad's
with
got
fantasy?
A family fun league. That was actually the same year as the startup or the rent and crew one, though. So I did both of those for the first time together.
Mhm.
It was good. Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say that's like
No, I'm in.
You did the Rent and Crew the first time you played?
Last year
Yeah.
Last
Oh,
year,
Two
yeah.
years ago, actually. It's
Or
I think
2
about
years
or
ago.
2 years ago,
This
right?
Is the third year, right? Because we've been
Yeah.
doing. This is the second Jabroni season, and then we had one
Yes.
Rent and Crew before that.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
jumping into IDP straight away is what? Is a
Yeah.
choice.
So that was one thing I wanted to ask you about. Is it took years to kind of calibrate to how the game works and just even valuing players and everything. I feel like you've picked it up really fast. Like
So
you
fast.
immediately found out like, oh, you found your strategy for, running backs and wide receivers, which is the meta. Like you picked that aspect of the game up really quick. So kind of interested to hear how that's gone. Like has it been kind of hard, or you just like read some articles? Like, how'd you pick it up so quickly? Like, I'm legitimately impressed.
Well, I like numbers, so I, look through the app and whatnot. And then some articles, but you guys were speculating, I think, a year or two before that I was like online paying for info on Fantasy Kings or something. None of that. And then a lot of it was just dead luck.
Did you go to the games when we were younger at school?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So you did have interest in it before we, before you came into the league.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I kind of wanted to play, but Mama said no, and that's fair.
Yeah.
No, yeah. She your mom's not
I
gonna
don't
be
blame
like, yeah, you can go play football and get a concussion, like get brain damage, Danny.
Yeah,
I already
like,
have
look
two. Your other brothers
Yeah.
are already brain damaged. You're good.
Like look at me. I can barely use my right arm, and it's forever. That's not like a. It's not a temporary thing.
Fight. Yeah.
You got folded
Yeah.
in half.
Literally.
Yeah, and then
Good decision.
on top of that, like the IDP. Well, I feel like we're still kind of learning too. Some of us had an advantage because like me and Steve had played in IDP leagues before. But people like you, especially since you just started picking up the game. But even then, I feel like you picked that up pretty quickly. I mean, you made some trades early on, and
We'll see how that goes. Micah Parsons is going to leave the league and go to the Olympics, and it's going to be a terrible.
That actually happens
He broke
pretty
himself.
frequently.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wait, what is he going to do in the Olympics? Like,
I don't know.
they're not rushing the passer in 7-on-7 flag football. What is this?
Why would that stop him from playing football?
Because he wants to be serious about it and train for it. I don't know. But he was talking about
He must
he's got
be
a
doing
show
non-football thing, right?
HBO.
Oh yeah,
maybe?
he does have
on HBO or something.
Yeah.
Where he talks about it, and he was talking about leaving football to do it.
This year on not inside the NFL, but Hard Knocks was the Cowboys. So
Oh, that must be it then.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's just the Micah Parsons show, not Hard Knocks. But
Well, his podcast.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh yeah, he does
have a
have
podcast, right?
Could be a podcast.
But
Yeah.
it's on like HBO or something. Yeah. And so I watched a few episodes since you got the player. Why not?
Well, I honestly think that was a pretty good trade. I mean, not only did you kind of skirt the responsibility of dealing with, scouting college players and then potentially picking up a player that sucks and all that. You just picked a proven IDP asset that's like, top flight. And honestly, that's one of the more significant trades in terms of the power dynamic in our league, because there's only a few players that you trade a first for an IDP asset. And in my opinion, Micah Parsons is one of those few. I mean, you have the other one, Myles Garrett, or, Trevor's got TJ Watt. Like, these players are worth a first.
I was looking at people like TJ Watt too when I was shopping. Never sent an offer though because he's a bit older, right? And I wanted something that could hopefully last.
Be on your team for a long
Never
long
gonna
time.
get him.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I think that's also part of like trying to value like first round picks is like
Youth is
what
a part
like
of it.
is the age thing, just because like IDP is already kind of nebulous as it is. Like
You have players just come out of the woodwork though every year with
The
IDP.
age thing is how you stay consistent though, because they're veterans. So yeah, it sucks
that's
having
true.
them because they get hurt, but you know what the fuck they're gonna do.
right.
They're
They're a
gonna be
known
consistent.
quantity. It's like the
It's also
devil,
very-
the devil do you know sort of thing.
it's also very rare, and this is just also for general football, that defense is consistent year on year. I mean, like TJ Watt is like the outlier there, but like
Yeah.
even team defense is like far more volatile than like offense.
Yeah, I mean,
You
think about the 2016 season where we had Saxonville, and that just evaporated the year after that. It's a lot of year-to-year variation.
Or the year that
That's the way
Stephon
the
Gilmore
NFL
won Depoy.
T-boy, yep.
That was like the year that if you had taken like it was in redraft, like the New England defense, like they were like better than like half
Most
the
running
quarterback or
backs.
something.
Yeah,
Running back,
exactly. Yeah.
The only
was
consistent
crazy.
defense year in year out is San Diego.
You mean LA?
No, San Diego.
Yeah,
Go
no,
look at it. Go look at them.
Bolt up.
Minnesota. Minnesota's had a great defense for like 10 fucking years. Not
That's true.
exactly set and forget, but they've had a good defense for a long time.
Yeah, that's true. Patriots
Denver
when Bill
players are
Belichick,
doozies.
but I mean, they were way more volatile than either of the teams we just mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Danny, I got another question for you. So we all kind of have our favorite teams. Like I'm a Falcons stan and a Seahawks fan, and Steve's the Jets are his phylactery. Like he's got Breece Hall. He's just completely just erroneously tied to that team, and then he's a Green Bay fan for some fucking reason. So like, I know that you went to college in San Francisco, but somehow you didn't manage to turn into a Niners fan. I'm very proud of you. So I'm just kind of curious, like who are some of your favorite teams that you like
Well,
rooting
still
for?
Seahawks for sure, and
Yeah.
I've got entirely too many players on the Browns for no good reason, so I'm
Oof.
invested in them. Yeah, I know.
Yep. That's how
there's-
that's how this Jets thing started.
Yeah. I mean, at least like I don't know about you, but I have somehow become like part owner in like the Bills and the Ravens suddenly, and it's like
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, you had Jerry Jeudy, right?
yeah.
So it's just like, and then they get
But,
traded there, and you're like, all right, I guess.
But now Tillman's going to be their new number one, which is too bad.
Yeah,
Jerry
Joe was
Jones
talking
dropped
shit
the
last
ball,
week.
so-
I was right. That dude's a stud. He just got traded for today. Let's go.
Cedric Tillman.
Yeah.
wait, who's
Yeah.
talking shit?
You were saying, nah, he's not fucking wide receiver one. You're high. I'm like, yeah, he is.
Cedric
Who?
Tillman is not a wide receiver one.
He
He's
is
a
on
wide
the Browns.
receiver.
He is
two.
now
And
for the Browns.
We were saying that that he was going
Wait,
to be a
isn't-
fantasy element because we
Isn't-
lost Danny.
Isn't Jerry Jeudy number one?
I mean,
not
maybe
playing
on the
like it.
depth chart,
Not
but
much
like
anymore,
probably not to Jaemis Winston, who's been on the bench with him.
I think our point was that Jaemis can support multiple wide receivers, regardless.
Well, that and the Browns are going to have to like take a quarterback, even though like they're signaling Deshaun might come back, which is like, all right, dude.
It won't happen. Yeah.
They're going to have to take a quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate for this year because, the quarterback class is looking rough.
Oh,
No.
we lost. Did we lose Danny again? What happened
Yeah.
here?
I don't know.
I got him. There we go.
Okay.
What the heck?
What the heck?
It said I went inactive,
I don't know.
and it punished me. And it
That's-
said,
I didn't know that was a
"Top of the
thing."
channel."
I
Yeah.
didn't know that was possible either when you were, you were in the middle of a sentence pretty much. Like,
Yeah, weird.
yeah,
Yeah,
anyway.
your
okay.
camera was on. Like,
Cedric Tillman aside. Yeah, exactly. Like, how is that not active?
Sorry.
Right.
Cedric Tillman aside, you're rather invested in the Browns. Are there any other teams that you are
The
like?
Ravens because of Henry.
Sure.
Of course. Had I kept Lamar instead of Josh Allen, but
Yeah, right.
No,
Yeah,
that
so
was
then I'll
that was
pick
that
up.
was the move, man. I still think that was a good trade. I think you've made some good trades. Like I have made worse trades than you, and I've been playing this game way longer. So you're doing something right.
looking to make some more too. We'll see.
Hell yeah, that's what I like to hear.
I mean, those trades worked out. I think for both of us in the long term.
Yeah, Steve.
Right.
So you got you sniped fucking BTJ from me.
BTJ,
with,
and
Danny's
then
pick.
That would have been
Right.
nice. I've got terrible wide receiver room right now, so
and
yeah.
the second
part of that isn't
rounder-
your fault, man. We'll get to the injuries in a minute, but
yeah.
Yeah, the second rounder became Junior Colson, who
Okay.
unfortunately just went to IR. But
so far that's
You know,
been nothing.
linebackers develop. Linebackers take time, and
That's
he's
true.
not tops on the playing time quite yet, but is developing well from what it looks like, at least before the injury.
and at least he's with a coach that will give him time. Like he was a
Yeah.
Harbaugh guy, like during
Exactly.
college. So like,
Exactly.
yeah.
So I figured there was some goodness there, but yeah. So those worked out for me, I think. But yeah. I seems like Josh has been good for you, and well, Micah's on IR. So, oops.
High ankle
Yeah.
sprain.
Ugh.
Yeah. He
Yep.
never
Dude,
actually
the-
got put on IR. He's just been out. But yeah.
Oh, he's just been out. Okay.
You're
Doing
Daniel
the thing
Jones.
where like becomes like questionable, and so
Yeah.
you like can't be on an IR spot, and then like
Yeah.
becomes
Mine's
out
full. It's
later.
okay.
That's just
I hate that when it's
Bouncing
something
in
that
and
they're
out.
obviously going to be ruled out for, like if it's a high ankle
Yeah,
or something.
just
It's like,
rule 'em
dude,
out.
just please put them doubtful on Monday or whatever when they unlock. Please stop this.
Dude.
Like, oh, they're day to day. It's like he has a high ankle.
Well,
At least you
injury
don't have a
reports
guy like
don't come
Michael
out
Mayer
till
who's out for
Wednesday, right?
personal reasons.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Have you
I don't know what's
figured
going
out?
on there.
It's so cringe.
It's like mental health, bro. Like the dude is like losing.
I
it,
mean,
I guess.
I wonder if it's like addiction related
It
or
could
something
be.
like that, or like if they're like, there's so many opportunities in the NFL to medically relapse, and that can
Yeah, with
just
all the
also
opiates they
insane.
give you.
So
yeah,
you
in,
know.
in Vegas, yeah, exactly.
I mean,
yeah,
look at-
so maybe he's just doesn't want to play for Vegas anymore.
Look at
Maybe
Josh
he's-
Gordon, dude.
No,
Dude,
he's like
yeah.
blowing hookers. I need them now.
Got tore up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Speaking of the Browns, Josh Gordon.
yeah,
Yeah,
legend.
Browns
Um,
legend Josh Gordon.
Yeah, you've been absolutely destroyed by injuries this season because I
Hammered.
had you in my pre-season predictions as being you and Josh were my like dark horse prediction for
There's still
the
time.
championship.
Well,
There is still
that's,
time. The season
Yeah,
is
there's-
halfway done, but
we're
you've been writing
a
the
little
most
past that.
injured teams top 3 on the St. Germani's Hospital for
Every
probably.
week. I don't think I've been off of it.
Yeah, you like entered the season basically
Yeah.
as soon as I think like week 3 or something is when I finished that feature, and you've just been on it the whole time. Like,
We do have the top 3 on this podcast right now, with you leading the ways.
well, the thing is that it counts
Yeah.
players that are just there, and I just like questionable players. You want to look on like it's like game days when it matters, and that's when Danny gets it just rockets straight to the top because like all the like
just look at all of this IR.
I look at Danny's team, and it's just like on game day, and it's I look through his bench. I'm like, oh, you could put that guy. He's out. You could put him on your IR, and then I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, nope, not happening.
Dude, it's like you and Jordan too, because it's like every game, it's like, all right, who's it gonna be? And then you're watching, and then it's like, oh, they're getting out the cart, and that's my that's my linebacker.
That's my
Fuck.
guy. Damn it. Like,
What
yeah.
the fuck? Dude, I don't know. That would drive me fucking crazy. I'm like I was saying a couple weeks ago, the number one asset you can have as a fantasy player is just the ability to withstand disappointment.
It's called nihilism.
Yeah, if you have a good degree of nihilism, you're an excellent fantasy player. So
I mean,
That is
like,
true.
after you beat me, like, it was like I just remember thinking, like, oh, why did I lose? Oh, because of course, like 2 players left the game early that are like key to my team. It's like, yeah, no, that sounds about the right fantasy experience. Like, that's
sounds
exactly how this
all
goes.
right,
That's how this should work.
let's recap that absolute fucking disaster of a week for you.
Dude.
I'm looking
can't
at
be
It's
as
like the most
bad
perfect like example of like my entire fantasy experience. It's
Oh,
like,
dude.
Cannot be as bad as Matt's in my week.
No,
Matt's in my like
Steve,
wild
hold
race
up.
to the bottom. I
So-
did watch you guys' matchup though. That
yeah,
was fun.
Joe's team and I think Joe's team and then Trevor's team by like a wide margin are like the most insane in terms of ceiling. Because like every fucking week Trevor's dropping 250. It's ridiculous. And then Joe's team is doing the same, but like not as like maybe 200 every week. It's just like 180 to 200 every week. And coincidentally, the stars align, and he plays against my fraud ass team that has like no running backs left. And I literally played Miles Sanders, who had
negative points for the vast majority of the game. He got positive points within the last 5 minutes of the game.
dude, he had at the end of the game, he had a net negative 10 yards. That was his final line was 2 carries for negative 5 yards and 2 receptions for negative 5 yards.
He did a great job.
Dude,
You knew what you were getting into.
Yeah, but the thing is like my situation was such that Brian Robinson was ruled out last minute. Like he went out for pregame warmups and his hamstring wasn't feeling
Tweaked his
right, so they
hamstring,
ruled him
yep.
out. And he's like the only other running back I have other than K9 who's any good, because the rest of the running backs I have are like young players that are in a good position. If someone gets injured or next year the vet in front of them will retire or get traded or sign in free agency somewhere else, and maybe they'll get a shot. That's kind of my strategy. So I don't really have any backups. So I pivoted to the waiver wire and picked up none other than Miles Sanders and played him as a joke. But like unironically, because he legitimately is better than the other options that I have, which are basically rookies that are getting maybe 10 snaps, right? And he gets a negative 10 yards, which I went back and looked is literally his career worst performance. I was just hoping, because the week prior he had 7 catches, and I was just feeling like, oh, Carolina's featuring him for a trade, right? And then he goes out and does this, and I'm just like, nope. And I was kind of hoping he would like randomly have a blow up game so I could laugh at Josh, but that strategy absolutely failed. And then I ended up winning. Like, Joe, I'm my team is a fraud, dude. Why did you do this to me?
You're gonna get another win this week, probably going up against my
against
team,
Steve on his bye week. Let's go.
The Packers are on bye. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Well,
Yep.
welcome
I saw
to the easiest matchup you will ever have. Like,
dude.
You see earlier how
I mean,
I had
basically,
nobody
like-
but Aaron Rodgers in there.
I mean, basically, what happened to my team is like AJ Brown went out, and they're like,
Yep.
we're babying him because he's their best player.
Yep.
Some Packer decided to like get targeted by Brian Branch, and so he got kicked out with like one tackle.
It's the stupidest thing in the world, because it was Bo Melton that got targeted by Brian Branch on the
scion of
sideline.
like,
I know,
so
yeah.
dumb. And then Amari Cooper got rolled out before the game with a wrist, which may or may not happen again this week.
That's some
And so,
pussy
like-
shit too. Like, come on, bro. Your wrist, dude.
I don't know, man. It's just like the depth started to drop. Like, my depth has really been tested, and it's not going well. And then I just made like all the wrong decisions. Like I had Dante Fowler.
you played like every IDP player that you made was the wrong one. Like
the other one was like should have been a relatively safe choice, but like it turns out the Broncos are bad. I don't know if anybody realized this season, but like the Broncos are terrible, and
They're
like
really
one of
bad.
them got pulled from the game because they were up by like 30 at half. Like
Bo Nix is just flopping. Like he was a total flop, in my opinion.
he's great for fantasy.
He fucking has
OJ.
he has his receiver from college, and he's not even utilizing him.
I think that's more of a like scheme coaching decision though, because Peyton's a fucking dickhead.
I mean, they're just not. I don't feel like they're utilizing any.
I think Sean Payton is at this point like, yo, dude, just go be a TV personality, man. You've lost your fastball. It's done.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
it's
done.
over.
And I think
Maybe.
Bo Nix could have like.
Here's
He
the thing,
could've
though.
done
He
something,
already has the most wins by a Broncos rookie in franchise history.
That's really sad. He's a great
He already
fantasy
has the
asset because he runs.
like-
It's kind of the same thing with like like Justin Fields, but like it's the same problem is he can't actually quarterback, which is kind of the necessary condition to
Dude.
be a quarterback.
That is like Casey's type. He's got all the quarterbacks who are just trash, but they rush and they like might get 40 points, but they lose the game and might get benched or traded.
Well,
Like
I don't
Casey
think
has
that
Mayo
Bo
Coffee.
Nix.
He's got Mayo Coffee Man. He's got
Oh,
Justin
man.
Fields,
You
and now
should
he's
see
got
this,
Bo
Trevor.
Nix.
Did he drop Dalton?
I don't think
No,
so.
he did not.
Okay,
He's
that's
still proudly on his bench, named King Bum.
Still, yeah.
He should change it to King Peach, man, because it's the same thing. Like at least be fun about it.
Yeah.
No, but like Bo Nix could have been good in the right system because it's not like he has that terribly high of a ceiling. It's just his floor is also not terribly low. Except it turns out it is. I guess.
I mean, he's been fine for fantasy. He's just not good at football in real life.
Yeah, it's Casey's type, man. I'm telling you.
The only like truly mean, he had his first 2 starts are his first 2 starts, and then he had an absolutely dismal performance against the Jets, but hasn't been below, or I guess the New Orleans, that wasn't a great game, but 20 points is the lowest he's had in the past 6 weeks.
We did not paint a picture of him being any good, like right
No.
there. That was
No.
not good.
No, he's had what looks like, 7 good games.
Yeah,
But that's
I remember
7
his
of
draft
9.
profile.
So,
Like there was an analyst, I forget who it was, said he is a first rounder, but only because people need quarterbacks because he really should be a third rounder, which is not what you want as your like general analysis pre-draft. Like,
right.
yeah, if you're gonna go in the first and you're a third, and everybody knows you're a third, that's like a bad process. Which I guess is kind of par for the course with like the Broncos.
What you do. Yep. Still, though, it is sad that he has the most wins of any Broncos rookie quarterback ever.
Well, didn't they draft Brett Rippon?
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
He was ripping ass.
Brett ripping ass.
He didn't. I also don't think he got that many starts because that was the same year as that other guy.
Paxton Lynch?
No,
Because that was the other one that was a
that's
big
the
flop.
other one. There was
Drew
a big
Lock?
flop. There wasn't Drew Lock. Yes. Also a big
Seahawks
flop.
legend.
Seahawks
Lock.
legend. Which, yeah, I think everybody's gonna have to take the L on Drew Lock. Just like, if you can't beat out Daniel Jones, like something's wrong with you, man.
Speaking of Danny Dimes, dude. Danny's back and forth with like how many wins or how many more games Daniel
Josh
Jones
Allen.
performs over Josh Allen is wild.
That's top tier. I wanna hear more about this. How did this come up for you? Would it like
I was just being
other-
sad about Josh Allen's 10-point games. And so
Mush Allen.
Yep.
Dude,
Well,
yeah.
I just checked. He's at 4 of 9.
Yeah.
That's
4
amazing.
times I could have put him
That's-
in. Yeah, over.
honestly, that's about the same as fucking Bo Nix.
That's not good.
That's not good.
Honestly, I mean, Daniel Jones is way overpaid.
Well, yes, but
yeah,
that wasn't.
yes,
I mean, no
but-
one's gonna argue that. Like,
But he's actually when he's got a system around him that's setting him up to succeed. Like with the weapons that he has now, he's doing okay. Like even in real football terms, I think the Giants have been slightly better. I saw a really sad.
you should listen to some
watch
Giants
those.
fans because they don't
No,
agree with that.
Giants fans
should-
are just miserable. They're terminally
They're
miserable.
always miserable, but you should also watch a few more Giants games. I know you needed to nearly claw both of your eyes out after
Well, I
that
watch all of
one,
them.
but
It's horrible. but
it's terrible.
Their
Yeah.
offense has been more watchable lately. Is my point.
More watchable than unwatchable is not the highest bar.
Since they started featuring Tyrone Tracy more, it's been more
Yes.
interesting because they
good.
have a competent running back, but even then, like, not great. Oh, we lost Danny again. Fuck. This damn inactivity timer.
I don't know
who's
what
that?
that's about.
Dude, he needs to check some setting on Discord or something. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with
Whack.
that, Danny.
yeah,
Locked
that's
me
crazy.
again. Yeah, that's so weird.
Maybe you just gotta like jiggle your mouse. Maybe it thinks that you're going AFK.
I guess.
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
crazy. Anyway, yeah, we'll just I'll just drag you in every time it does that, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
Just
I think-
the Danny.
I think the touchdown that Daniel Jones threw at home this last week was the first time in like several seasons or something. I think it
600
was
something days.
600 something days.
Yo, you should not be a starting quarterback if you can't throw touchdowns at home within a years of any not within a calendar year, but just general
Nearly 2
365
years.
days.
Nearly 2 years. Like nearly 2 entire seasons.
We had the neck injury and then the Achilles or whatever, but
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess that does mean something, but yeah.
He had a neck injury. Ugh.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
he's
Yeah,
been.
it was
he's
like
been-
a. It was
Have
like
you
a
seen? Have you
collarbone
seen
thing.
that line like just collapse and he just gets destroyed and then he's pissed
He
off
gets
at Dayball?
annihilated. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Dayball's on the sideline like, "What was that, boss?" And Daniel Jones is just like, basically,
Yeah. It's like I'm getting destroyed out here. Fuck
yeah,
you.
fuck
Can
you.
we trade for Andrew Thomas, please?
Oh, please. Anyone would just like that dude is a wall.
Andrew Thomas is like an actual good like NFL tackle. Like
Oh, he's like
definitively good.
one of the best. He's like top 5, isn't he?
Yeah.
The dude is.
Well, I don't know about top 5, but like it's kind of hard to judge on any given week of who's the best tackle. But he is like
he's consistent and he doesn't give up sacks.
He's good.
Like
He's
I'll take that.
Yeah. Andrew Thomas is one of the rare W's for the Giants.
I mean, they have a pretty good defense. The Giants have had a decent defense for a while. It feels like they just seem to hit in the draft. It's just their offense is just so inconsistent.
I mean, they have linebackers and D linemen, but their corner situation is not great.
I mean, look at last year, 2023 stats. Week 1, 6 fantasy points. Week 2, 40. So he Gabe Davises you, and he's like, "Look, I'm really good. I played against the Cardinals. I just dropped a 40 burger." Then Danny's like, "Yeah," and then he puts him in, and then he plays the Niners and gets 7 points. You know, like he's like the Gabe Davis
quarterback, true streamer.
Yeah,
he's a Gabe Davis for sure.
He's valuable, that's for sure. I mean, you got some good like in terms of roster construction. I like the quarterbacks you have because you play Josh Allen, and then when Josh Allen is on bye, or if he misses a week or two because of an ankle or whatever, or his hand, or
Danny Dimes is fine.
Where the hell happens? I mean, Danny Dimes is going to fill in just fine. And then you got Russell Wilson.
Who's 4 out of 9 times. He's
looking
the right
great.
answer.
Yeah, 4 out of 9 times. You should have played him instead, which is fucking gross.
Stupid.
Yeah, the whole Russell Wilson thing, like, I think that also is kind of just an indictment on, like, Sean Payton. Like, I don't know about how you guys judge, like, coaches in general, but one of the things that I generally look for is coaches that change what they do to fit their players as like a sign of a good coach is like kind of a baseline thing. And like if you're not going to do that in any capacity, like that I don't know, that's just like that gives me the ick. Like,
that's why I think John
Harbaugh,
not
putting your players in the position to succeed. Sorry, Marcus, go ahead.
That's why I think John Harbaugh is one of the best coaches of our age because of what he did with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was a true project, and he is a multi-MVP. Like, he fucking can't beat the Chiefs in the playoffs ever, but...
No one can.
Yeah, no one can. So you can't really hold that against him, right? But, you know, Lamar Jackson had a lot of problems. He was a really raw player. He was basically a running back, and that was the whole knock against him is that he wasn't a real quarterback, and he's developed into a player that's just fine. You know, and Jim Harbaugh basically retooled that entire team to fit that player instead of doing what the Colts are doing with Anthony Richardson and basically being like, "Sorry, bud, you're just not it."
That's also because like the Colts owner like OD'd like earlier this year, so you know maybe not the most stable franchise.
Yeah, it's Ray's not.
Jimmy Irsay
doing
is just
good.
A mess. He's just a mess.
Like, yeah. It's not a good situation over there in Indy, man.
Nope.
No,
it's all bad. The Colts are rough.
Jonathan Taylor's always broken.
He's always
I
broken.
Drafted him too many times. Yeah.
In redraft.
Yeah, actually, that brings me to one of the questions. Who are some of your most snake bit players? Like, are there players that have evolved with aside from JT? That you've,
Yeah, I'm not picking him again. I don't think.
Yeah.
I got Cooper Kupp usually as well, and he's also usually injured, which is too bad.
Right.
But
sure.
Derrick Henry's my one true king, though. So
Derrick Henry is a stud.
He is the king.
The thing about Cooper Kupp though is like he emerged and became like god tier. Just an absolute cheat code. You just put him in and he would just get 30 points like every game. It was basically like CMC last year. It's just like, how does he do this? And it's just like every game, 10 targets, 8 targets, 9 targets, 8 targets, 20 targets, 15 targets, 13 targets. And he's catching everything. He's getting multiple touchdowns every game. It's just like, what? And then
that Triple Crown year, dude, was...
Yeah,
I don't know if we're going to see that in the next 10 years, just like that level of efficiency and that just like target share and that just like he was just killing people, man.
That was
I was in LA for that
2021.
season. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
He
That was
2K
that was the Super Bowl
yards
season, right?
almost. Hmm?
That was the Super Bowl season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Something like Aaron Donald that
was
like put
insane.
up like close
Yeah.
like 17 or 20 sacks. It might have been one of the 20 sack seasons. It was crazy.
Yeah,
But that's the
it was
thing
going
is
nuts on both sides of the ball.
Cooper Kupp has been dealing with a lot of soft tissue injuries the past couple of years, but he's just one of those vets that he can play until he's 34. Like he will be on your roster for another couple of years for sure, and he'll
As
still
long
be
as-
good. You know,
I mean, as long as Matt Stafford's there, like that whole team will be relevant fantasy wise. Like there's no reason
Yeah.
like why Matt Stafford can't throw the ball, you know?
even if Matt Stafford retires and they bring in like there was that dude that was smoking crack on Twitter saying that Sam Darnold was going to be traded after the game with the Rams or whatever, and then I ended up being right that dude was smoking crack. But even if that happened, Cooper Kupp would still put up numbers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I definitely think of Cooper Kupp as like football, like QB agnostic.
And then Derrick Henry is he's just a Hall of Fame running back. There's no question because he like the stuff he spends like $1 million every year on just conditioning and on his body and his training regimen is just you want guys like him. Guys that
Well,
like
it's also like
are
in
psycho.
the situation with the Rams too. It's like in the backfield, you have to choose every possession whether you're going to focus on Lamar or Henry, and like Derrick Henry might get tackled behind the line of scrimmage, like on every other play, but that really doesn't matter. Like
He
it
still
really
gets
doesn't.
2 yards. You know?
Well, no, like literally, he is one of those guys. Like at least 5 times, 6 times a game, he's going to get tackled behind the line of
He's gonna
scrimmage,
get
and
blown
it
up.
does
Yeah.
not matter.
He just needs if he gets ahead of steam. He's like Goku. Like you just don't stop him. If he gets going, it's
Yeah,
just
he
you can't.
you
Like
start
we were
rolling.
talking about it last week. JOK tried to tackle him and then exited the game on a stretcher. You just don't tackle him.
Well,
He's
Make
on
it easy
IR
for
with a
him.
neck
No,
injury.
for sure.
Just saying.
Yeah, it's because
Like,
he tried to tackle Danny Slayer.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Also contributing to my current run of nihilism.
true.
Yes.
So the dynasty format is pretty daunting. I mean, this group of people that we play with have been playing fantasy for quite a few years before we picked it up. So when we did our startup draft, there's a lot of planning that goes into that, and it really helps to kind of know what you're doing. I thought you did great, so I was just wanted to pick your brain about what your process was for the startup draft. Like when you went into it, did you have players that you were looking at? Did you what was your strategy? Obviously you went offense first early.
Yeah.
But
I
Unlike
think
somebody
Miles
on
in
this
the
channel.
5th, I think.
yep, 6th.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, tell us about that. What was your startup draft experience like?
Well, at the time, I wanted to go quarterback heavy, but Steve took Josh Allen because they make the most points out of any of the players, right? And so I was like, well, you go quarterback first. That makes sense. Not in redraft anymore. I don't think I'd do that as I've learned and evolved. And then, yeah, I wanted to go heavier on the running back side and still pick up. I don't know. I don't. That's what I did.
No, your strategy was awesome because
It worked. Yeah.
You ended up with a roster that was far superior to Steve. And Steve's
I mean, some guy who's like competitive versus the guy who's already had to rebuild. Like,
Yeah,
thanks,
what do you
Scott.
know?
Real hard hitting
Yeah.
analysis. Thanks, bud.
I think it's interesting because it's like even though you're a newer player, like your strategy just ended up working better than what Steve did. Which
I mean, that strategy too. Like, sorry.
which isn't to say that Steve is bad at fantasy. He just made some decisions and just certain players that he picked in certain places didn't work out. But like you absolutely crushed it. It's really unfortunate what happened with Nick Chubb, but I think if you did have Nick Chubb, you probably would have made it to like the semifinals last year. Like your team was that good and still is that good. But you went
I mean-
Lamar Jackson, Nick Chubb, Cooper Kupp, Derrick Henry. That's such a solid like group of players to have. Multiple Hall of Famers in there, potentially. So
Likely.
Well, I mean, Derrick Henry and Lamar at this point, like Lamar's got too many MVPs
Yeah.
not to be a Hall of Famer. Like,
and Cooper
Yeah,
Kupp, like Cooper Kupp is
Kupp
like
has
one of the best
yeah.
receivers of all time. Dude broke records in 2021. It's insane what he did, you know. But I think you clearly paid attention to us when we were telling people about IDP strategy, and you basically picked like best available. I wish I picked Myles Garrett, man. I love that dude. He's so
That was
He's
awesome.
been awesome. Yeah, for sure.
He's so fun to watch.
I think that was like my biggest like failure of taking an IDP person early. I took Roquan before, and like in that same like kind of area where people took Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, and it's like the linebacker thing is like, we've talked about it on this podcast, but like the tight end D line kind of like parallel, like that's kind of the thing. It's like if you've got one of those guys like Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, like that's
The
real
absolute-
value.
Yeah, the absolute stud DL
Yeah,
is real value.
I don't think that really matriculated in terms of draft strategy until a year later when things played out the way they did, and we kind of realized like, okay, the scoring format that we have, the top defensive ends are basically the best players. Like they're the most coveted. Linebackers are good, but you want depth there in terms of like how many snaps they play, but like a game-changing defensive end. And we've seen it with Trevor scores every week. It's just like TJ Watt drops 40. It just happens.
Yep.
Because he just like randomly out of nowhere gets 3 sacks and a forced fumble recovery, strip sack, 6, like flat, and then just gets a boatload of points. You know,
and it's also like
He's having to try really hard.
it's also the team though. Like one of the reasons TJ Watt's like always going to be good is like the Steelers are always going to be good, and the second that they've got a chance, TJ Watt's one of those guys that can just turn it on. Like
Right.
like
Yep.
there are very few guys in the league where you can be like, you know what, I know he's going to do something on this play because he needs to. Like Aaron Donald had that ability, TJ Watt had that ability. I mean, JJ had that. JJ Watt, his brother, had that
Yeah.
ability.
yeah.
Right.
It like I would
For
not.
some reason. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I wouldn't be surprised at all if like the Steelers make a deep playoff run this year, just because
They're
TJ
built
Watt's
for it.
absolutely gonna like tee off on as many people as he can.
They're totally built for it. And the 2 trades recently to acquire
They got a linebacker and
Mike
then
Williams
Mike
and
Williams.
Preston Smith.
Yep.
Dude, Mike Williams, just old George Pickens, like, let's go.
Young George Pickens and old George Pickens. And
Sorry, Scott. George Pickens might
Preston
not be
Smith
as valuable as he
is-
was last week.
Oh no, he's fine.
The Preston Smith is going to be depth for them. I don't think he's going to. I mean, he's not good enough to eat Watt's snaps. It's probably going to be Hayward who's going to see the rotational reduction playing time occasionally for Preston Smith.
Yeah,
But
as far as
I
like,
mean, he's not going to beat out Alex Highsmith either.
yeah, no,
yeah, no,
snaps
not
either.
fully. He's going to
It's
be like
depth.
a rotational
for
backup.
sure.
He's going to eat some snap.
But I really think that Mike Williams kind of impacts not because Mike Williams is a field stretcher. George Pickens is like their alpha. So,
What the fuck happened to Mike Williams?
he played on the Jets.
True.
He got injured.
Oh,
and then he
Steve,
played on the Jets.
since we're talking about your phylactery,
Yeah,
and I assume that Trevor didn't watch the game, but the infamous one with the Mike Williams play. Just break that
Sure.
down for Trevor. I want to hear this.
Okay, so Mike Williams was running a left side or right side vertical, and was supposed to break in towards the hash, and instead broke out, and Aaron Rodgers threw a pick 6. And Aaron Rodgers then went and publicly trashed Mike Williams for breaking the wrong way, and it turned into a big Jets media snafu.
Because the day after they announced that he was on the trading block. They said,
And they then traded the next day for Devonta Adams.
Yeah, and then Devontae Adams got traded to the Jets the very next day. So
But
Aaron
I will
Rodgers
point,
grew a
I will
public
point
fit,
though.
and that's what happened to Mike Williams.
I will point to that
Aaron
play
Rodgers is a
though,
crybaby.
and that's why.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that play is exactly why though that I think he will actually like eat into the targets of George Pickens is because both of them are those field stretching guys that break out, which is what Russ does. And the three guys that I want like in contested catch situations are D-Hop, George Pickens, Mike Williams.
well, that's the thing that I hate that I have to watch Arthur Smith offense this much.
I love it, dude. I love it.
He's actually been doing good. He's actually been doing good. I still hate Arthur Smith, but
It's one of the best things about this season is that you're still tied to him
God damn it.
very deeply.
God damn it.
Like
But-
really one
Really
of the
funny.
That's what they do
best.
with Van
It brings me so much
Jefferson.
joy.
Van Jefferson does that role. I think Van Jefferson and Mike Williams are gonna kind of share a role. I think Mike Williams will take over the Van Jefferson role, and Van Jefferson
Jefferson's
is a
pretty
good
small,
blocker.
right?
No, Van Jefferson's like kind of a big dude, actually.
Van Jefferson is like a perfect like role player in the McVay system.
Yeah,
Right.
He's
Kinda
kind of
like
like their
Rudy.
he's kind of like their Jake Bobo kind of guy, or he's just kind of like
Except he's faster.
Yeah,
which is
but
not
he's faster.
hard,
yeah,
Right.
but he's like smart, good blocking wide receiver. So yeah, utility guy. I think he's going to take over that kind of role because they also use him as a field stretcher because he's pretty quick. But definitely better for Mike Williams than being basically
A Jet.
under
yeah.
the thumb of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
in New
washed
York.
Aaron Rodgers. Just
Jesus
absolutely washed. Like
I'm-
they can't
I'm
get out of
so-
that contract either. He's going to be there next year. Like they are so screwed.
Yeah, they are so screwed.
It's wonderful. I love sad Jets fans. Like there's nothing
Yeah.
better than like
The bag.
that or like the 5-minute ESPN segment or the 5-minute Rich Eisen segment of them just being sad about the Jets. Like there's
Yeah.
very
Oh,
few
yeah.
bits of content where you could just turn that on and be like, this is going to be great. Like
Yeah.
there's so much emotion that those guys have that like is just like hilarious to watch them go through the emotions of just being a Jets fan.
I empathize.
Yeah, your phylactery.
Not it.
It's
Okay,
unfortunate,
so
Steve.
I'll defend myself a little bit on the Breece Hall scenario here. Kid came out of Iowa State,
Of course.
right? So there's that initial connection. He
Steve
was
born
also,
and raised in Iowa, by the way.
Yeah, not true, but mostly raised.
Important
Um,
context.
Yeah. So
You ever seen this
But,
man shuck corn? It's insane. Never seen corn get naked so
Never-
fast. It's
never
just
again.
crazy.
can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's true. your other phylactery.
yeah, it's
Corn.
ruined. Anyway, in the stupid PSYOP league, I traded like literally the entire farm to get the first pick to my very first pick in that stupid league to be Breece Hall. And then that started it, and that has been the thing ever since.
I respect it. Breece Hall is a really good player. I can't hate.
He's
Like,
great
I don't roast you because it's Breece Hall. I roast you because it's
because
the
it's the
Jets.
Jets. Yeah, exactly.
can
I'm
hope
waiting.
That he
I'm
gets
waiting
cut.
for the moment that
or
it gets
free-
mismanaged,
yeah.
and exactly he's freed of the curse of the Jets and can go be good somewhere else.
And
Well,
then
the
he
good news
ends
is
up
long as
for
they
like
don't
Steve,
break
in that vein, the owner will be going back to London and handing over his
Oh,
role
good.
to
His
brother,
his brother,
who will
yeah.
mismanage the Jets and not sign Breece Hall to an
a second
extension
contract
because
Yes.
he's going to mismanage the Jets
God,
again.
that is now like
So
the
you're
silver
you're
lining
good on
of the
that.
election there.
Yeah, you
Woody
can take your
Johnson.
small little silver lining.
instead he's gonna end up in like the worst possible running back room
Yeah,
situation.
he's gonna be in Carolina and a four-headed monster.
Oh, Carolina, or like he goes, he's like backing up
Houston.
Jonathan Taylor, or like you
Yeah.
know.
Oh,
Actually, what would be really cool in like a real football sense is if he went down to Tampa and they actually
Or-
had a good game.
A running back
that
you
would be
draft
fun.
in the first round trades to the team that
To
is
the
on
Jets.
the same
Yeah,
team
yeah,
as
yeah.
no, he trades.
Yep.
So you some running back you draft in the
so I
first
get
round.
doubled up on the
Yep, and then they trade
yeah.
that player to
the team
that
the
team.
new running back is
Yes.
on. Yeah.
So then
exactly.
they both are useless.
Yeah, exactly.
It can't be a Detroit situation where if you have both
we can't have
D'Lo
Sonic and Buckles.
and Gibbs that you would be rolling in it. Yeah, you can't have that.
Nope.
No. Well, I don't get that.
Nope. So, Danny, I gotta say, I love your Brandywine Bandits branding and your Kigu that you wear at the
I considered wearing it, but
at the draft.
today.
Oh, that would have been a nice touch. It'd probably also be really hot. But
I should have worn my fucking Trash Panda shirt. Damn.
True. But
I have a AAA baseball team like shirt. They're like in Georgia. They're like the Rocket City Trash Pandas. But
they play the
That's
play
amazing.
the Savannah Bananas, right?
yeah,
I think they're in the same league as them.
I love that shit.
The suppressor I just bought for my gun is called the Trash Panda.
But
good.
the comics that you do, Danny, like make my week. I love them. Please keep
they're
going.
really good.
I
Don't
love
ever
the
stop.
limericks. The limericks are real fun.
Yeah, those are top tier content.
I think
Thanks, guys.
I think my favorite one was the one you did while you were on vacation last year in Europe. It was the matchup you did against Steve when he was still the Tyrosaby Veracinius.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good. Yeah,
That Steve shit, and then it's like, what was it? He's like, Tyrosaby Veracinius, but what does it mean? And then he eats him.
Yeah, that was really
He's
good.
like, am I gonna be like this forever?
Yeah.
That was my favorite one. Because that was like on your sketchbook. I would love like a remaster of that. That was like my favorite one.
Fix it up. Yeah, for sure.
Why do we not have a Danny drawing channel?
Because they're on TLoOJ Tools.
It's on TLoOJ Tools. Yeah.
Yep.
We have a page.
Yep.
Oh,
it's got its own thing, man.
Yeah.
Go to the menu.
I don't ever fucking use it.
Well, you got to go to TLoOJ Tools.
Yeah, you got to look
and
at
then
TLoOJ Tools.
Brandywine Bandits.
Yeah, it's got all of them on there, right?
Yep. Every single one. Even going back to before the Dynasty League. So like all from the redraft.
Oh, yo, this is sick.
When you started doing it. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like shout out to TLoOJ Tools. Like the amount of stuff that like has been added to it is like
It's really cool.
It's such a great resource. Like if nothing else, it's been fun like to put it all together and like be a part of it. But
yeah, I want to
actually see cool.
I want to add
all of those speculative ads so much more data rich.
Yeah,
it's really lovely. Like,
yeah, I'm glad that people are using it because, like, if there's any feedback, like Josh has already PM'd me some stuff that I'm gonna add eventually. And then there's Joe's working on the jabroni above replacement stat that's gonna be put on, and then we're gonna work in the luck stats and everything. I'm gonna have like a gallery with all the like past champion stuff because I really want to like immortalize our league, like our dynasty league, online, so that we have the trophy and everything, but it's like. You can't just go look at it.
Bro, it's also like it relies on Steve remembering to bring the trophy to Scott's house, which at this point is 0 for 1.
Yeah, not a great record on that so far.
Not great, Bob.
No, not ideal.
I think that my favorite Danny drawing is definitely the one of mine because he has like a whole ass comic where it's like he ends up pissing on my players, and then he's like, "What is that? A big flying A-10 warthog?" And then it's just at the end, it's just my team imploded on itself. So it's like, I guess it doesn't matter.
Because it was what was that? The red versus blue, joke. Yeah, I love that.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, Danny. That is so fucking awesome. I love the comics. Keep doing it. I really appreciate it.
I do, yeah. No, I definitely like the one you did like this year versus like the random like for the whale instead of using like whatever it is that like the head is that Sleeper has.
Oh yeah,
the default image.
Yeah, you got to brand up.
Danny and I were like talking
gotta figure out
that.
something.
I was like,
I kind of want to print the.
I was like joking with Danny about the different branding that everyone's done and everything. It's like but I have my Sorrento Cobra, like the Cobra with the arms, and then Steve has his
Yeah.
Steve Mecha Kaiju shit. And then there's teams like you, Joe, with like default fucking sleeper avatar, and Danny was just like, I don't know what to do with that. It's just a sleeper head.
I don't know what a blubberbutt is.
What is that?
See, that's the problem. Is I've tried to look for like the AI tools to like create images, but every time I try and create one, it's just like these are horrendous,
It looks
and I'm not
awful.
paying for a fucking AI tool to create this stupid image.
Yeah. Okay, a blue whale.
So, I really want to take the comic from the first game and use it as my profile picture. I'm not gonna lie.
You should. You actually should. You can
Yeah,
just
why
save
not?
them
Yeah.
from TLoOJ Tools.
That's
You
actually just a
Danny
good
did,
idea.
because the one he did this year was pretty good too. The Warthog, A10, the A10 Warthog
Yeah,
that's
just
like crashing.
crashing
out
You're
of the
only
sky.
lost.
Yeah,
My
that's
man.
true.
Oh yeah,
That is true. And then everything just went downhill for Danny immediately after that.
But he
Oh, this
won.
is fun. I
He
forgot I
won.
did that.
Um,
Well,
I had
back,
to
though.
trick the.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
But,
I got you. I got
um,
you, Joe.
So one of the reasons why I'm grilling you about that is like one of the things I'm gonna do in the off season is I want to take all the team names and their images, because Sleeper API has a way to download the images in real time for each team. So like your avatar can get pulled down from their server. So basically I could have it so that it automatically refreshes your team name and your avatar image. So I think it'd be cool if everyone had their own avatar image, and then I'm going to rearrange, instead of the list on the homepage, it's going to be tiles for all the teams
that'd be cool.
with a picture, like a bigger picture, hopefully, of your avatar. And then I'll add support for people to send me like high resolution images instead, because like probably the one from Sleeper is probably a shitty little tiny image. So I'll have a way to have like a really high resolution one, because like mine is like a really big like picture, and it just looks better in high resolution. So I'll use that, and then
Mine too.
yeah, and then Steve's, and then I'm sure Danny has a high resolution one
I'm
as
just
well.
gonna
But
take this moment. To
it's
change
just I'm gonna do some
I'm not
UI
fucking
stuff.
like using like
No,
a CD
not-
Lamb whale like as my fucking like, I'm not fucking doing that shit. I don't even have CD Lamb. What the hell is this shit?
I don't know. It picked 88 randomly. So.
I know. I've had some really horrendous like what the fuck is that like attempts at making an AI version.
Yeah, there's something here. We'll workshop this.
Yeah, I'm surprised there isn't like an easy image to find of like just whales high-fiving on the internet. Like,
They
that
don't
feels
have
like something
hands.
that should exist.
So wait, is
Yeah.
whale correct? Is that
Yeah.
okay? Nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah, no,
Some-
you like. I
something
could actually
chubby and
use
fat.
like the thing that your comic from this year. I could actually just use that.
Well, that's true, but you're all cut open.
Yeah, but it's funny. I mean, it's like that's a
You're
perfect
either getting cut
representation of my
open-
general fantasy season.
Gutted.
Though. Like,
yeah,
every single time.
Danny's either like eviscerating you and cutting you open, or pooping and peeing on you. There's no in between there.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He's riding me all the way to the fucking scene of the crash, dude.
All right, guys. I think we wanted to cut it a little short
Yeah,
today because
think
we've
we're-
been going way too ham with all these
Yeah.
podcast episodes.
No,
But,
this is good. We're basically right up at an hour, so
yeah.
Nice.
that'll do it.
I wanted to say thank you, Danny, for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course,
Um,
guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Hope that you're having a good time in our dynasty league. It's
Oh yeah.
been awesome. I think you've been doing a great job, and I still think my prediction's still live. I think you and Josh are still dark horses for the playoffs. So don't give up.
I
think you
mean,
got this.
the way the standings go right now, I think you're the 5th seed, Danny, just by points for,
Yeah.
because
yeah.
of all of the disastrous weeks that have been happening to folks. So yeah,
Well, 6 teams are 4 and 5, which is just
Yeah.
hilarious.
I mean, like literally, yeah. The difference between rank 9 and rank 5. I mean, we're all 4 and 5. It's all 0.4. So
Oh, it's gonna get crazy. I think in the next couple podcast episodes, it's time, Steve. We're gonna start getting
it's going.
like the Always Sunny meme with the crazy theories about the ways it can break out.
hmm
Yep.
Yep, exactly. We'll start getting into Football math, fantasy football math.
I also think
I'm
we'll
just gonna
start.
end up getting like the 6th seed again, man. Like
I think we'll also
You're
start.
already pretty well locked in to an actual ranked at this point, Joe.
Dude, I'm
Or no, you're 5 and
4.
4. Yeah.
No,
No,
I'm
it's
not.
it's my
Not
fraud
quite.
ass team that's like
No, it's
crawling into
Targus
like a
that's-
high
yeah.
seed, which doesn't make any sense. I don't know
Yeah,
what
you're
the fuck is
failing-
going on. I'm failing upwards.
upward.
I'm
Yeah.
trading away all my players, and I'm still winning, and I don't deserve it because it should be people like Danny that should be getting these wins, and it's not. Dude, fantasy is a cruel bitch. That's all I gotta say
Indeed.
about that.
Embrace nihilism.
Yeah,
Embrace nihilism.
That
Hashtag
is
embrace
that's the
nihilism.
official. That's gonna be the title. We got it. Do we have like? I need to get like a just. I'll edit it in. I'm editing in a ding for the
Good.
title.
All right, guys. Well, as always, defense wins championships,
Vince wins championships.
and Steve still sucks.
Oh, Steve sucks.
Steve
Yes.
sucks.
Fuck
That's
you
it.
all.
All right, I'm
All right, good luck.
All right.
All right.
Yep.
Luck
Talk to y'all later.
this week.
See
Good
ya.
luck on your week.
Hey,
Peace.
Blarg, hold up for a sec.
Okay.
Yeah.